Welcome back to the Mind and Money podcast. I am Val, a financial planner.
And I'm Sherry, a financial coach. And today we're diving into some specific money challenges and blocks that folks with ADHD have. And of course, because we've got you, some solutions to help you with each one if you find it to be a challenge. And I just want to start with a few statistics because we never do this. And it's helpful to help you see that you're not alone. And the biggest one is that nearly 2/3 of adults with ADHD say that impulse purchases, difficulty budgeting, and trouble saving are big things that make managing their money harder. And one more stat, in a survey, 47% of adults with ADHD say that they are dissatisfied with their money management or budgeting. So if you feel these things, if you have these challenges we're going to talk about, just know that you're not alone. So the first one we're going to talk about, spending related to impulsivity. We're chasing the dopamine. We're trying to find that dopamine in spending and impulse purchasing. And this is such a common one. Val, do you see this in yourself or in any of the ADHD clients that you work with?
I feel like this is so huge. And the words that come to mind are intention and awareness. And those words are very overused in today's world. But it's bringing awareness to when you're feeling like you need to spend or go buy something, where is that coming from? Like mine is almost cyclical. And then the intention, like, is that something that I really need or want, or does it align with my values? Is it from my wants list? Do I have the means to purchase it? So with my clients, absolutely. The impulse spending is huge in terms of I see it, I want it, and credit cards allow me to have it, which gets us into a bit of a pickle when those credit cards start to add up.
100%. This is something that, okay, admission here. I added something to my cart today and bought it. And just quick story. It is a rainy, gloomy morning here today. And I have one of those like sun alarm wake up clocks, and it had an app, and I bought the cheapest of cheap one because I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to like it. And it doesn't like to cooperate and do what it's supposed to do and what I tell it to do. And this morning I was dragging my ass out of bed thinking, oh my God, it's so dark. I really wish this thing worked. And I spent a few minutes trying to get it to work, and it pissed me right off. And then of course, fucking Amazon deal days, there's one that's 27% off, and I bought it. It's going to be here tomorrow. And it has an app, and it had really good reviews, and I did the research. So it was impulsive, but it wasn't 100%. I hadn't been thinking about it before. And also, disclaimer, I have the money in my spending account to pay for it.
Right. So I feel like almost in your storytelling there, which I love, you almost like are prefacing it with like, don't shame me, don't guilt me. I've done my homework. This is okay. I am allowed. And you have all of the green flags surrounding that purchase. Was it just the fact that you maybe didn't take more time to let it sit in your cart that is weighing on you?
Maybe, but it did get like, it does give some impulse purchase vibes as well. And we can logic ourselves into or out of anything because our brains are super creative. And my logic also says, well, I didn't buy that $200 one, which was also on sale, so I really saved money. No, I don't think that, to be clear. But it's just like, I feel like there were this is going to sound so bad. There are worse choices I could have made.
Again, we can logic ourselves into or out of anything. And I completely agree. There are worse choices. And with the daylight being less and needing to get up in the morning. And yeah, it was a super gloomy morning this morning. I was like, I must be up early. It's still dark out. No, it's just there's no sunshine. So when it comes to those dopamine impulse spending aspects, that's definitely a challenge for ADHDers, because if we don't have a system or a red light, green light, yellow light in place for our purchases, it can get really out of hand really fast, especially with the way that consumer credit is often available to us. So for strategies that I've used and clients have used and we've talked about, there's the wants list. So if you see something or you hear someone talking about something or Amazon targets you with something, put it on that wants list. Do you actually want that? pause before making the purchase, add it to the cart, let it sit in the cart before making the purchase, do your research, look at the reviews, and then of course you want to also make sure that you have the financial backing to make the purchase, which brings us to structures and ADHD cash flow.
And there are some great ways to manage this. Also, fun, semi-related tip. If you are on Amazon and something says it's a really good deal and it's on sale, copy the link to the thing you want to buy and then go to a website called Camel, Camel, Camel. Paste that link in at the top and it will give you a history of the price changes of that item, because retailers like Amazon use psychology to get us to spend, and we love to save money. So if we think we're saving 27%, but we go to this website and we see that the price that it is today is not the lowest price that it has been in the last, I'm not sure how far it goes back, but you can see 2 weeks ago, it was a little bit more, and 3 weeks ago, it was a little bit less. You can really see, are they bullshitting me that price is less? But yeah, I love the wish list.
I love that you know this site. I just want to say that's amazing.
A fellow financial coach told me about this site, and it has probably saved me a lot of money, because I'm like, ooh, this seems like a really good deal, but is it? And then I go and see, and sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you have things in your Amazon cart, they will give you notifications when the price changes, which I really love, because this item was $24.99 and now it's $19.99. You can see the actual changes there. But yeah, having a system so that you have money that you have free permission to spend is really important for folks with ADHD, because when you don't have any money set aside that's for you to buy whatever you want and spend a little impulsively, you're going to rebel against your plan eventually. Maybe it's week 1, maybe it's month 1, maybe it's not for 6 months. But if you have a budget, you have a plan for your money that's so restrictive that it doesn't allow you to do the things that you are naturally inclined to do because of how your brain works, you're going to set yourself up for failure. And yes, if you're working to pay off debt or you have a big financial goal, the less you spend each month, the more you can put towards that goal. But how realistic is it that you're going to be able to implement that plan into your life?
100%. And when it comes to those, again, it's having the container to kind of like go wild in, to have the amount that you can go and save up for something big or spend on something impulsive and small that you want and it makes you happy. So it's doing it safely, right? It's like a controlled environment, but you still get to do your thing and have that need met, I'll say. And what I have loved too in terms of decluttering and wanting less things, more space, is it's really fun to go through your wants list and audit what actually doesn't even apply to you anymore. That has been super satisfying. And as a entrepreneur who has income that ebbs and flows, that has been a challenge. Before I had a structure from Sherry, regardless of income ebbs and flows, have a system that pays myself without getting the highs of a big pay or the lows of a little pay. Like creating a system around that was huge, because if not, it was just a giant cycle of big pay, got to put it towards credit cards, and then little paid, not enough, credit cards are growing. Like it was just chasing myself over and over and over.
And I see this as a big challenge for kind of everyone who has ADHD, and that is making spending decisions, whether that's on the personal side or in your business, based off the account balance of generally 1 or 2 accounts. So if you're an entrepreneur, maybe you've got things separated, maybe you don't. Please go and separate it. If you don't, you'll thank yourself later. But regardless of whether you have everything all together or you have a separate business account and a personal account, if you are self-employed, if you don't have systems for both of those, you are going to spend more when your account balance goes up and spend less and feel scarcity and all of those negative feelings around money and be miserable because you can't spend money on anything based on what is actually there. And also, you have to do so much mental math. If you're looking at your personal account and you have a balance of $1,000 and you just got paid yesterday, and you're looking at the calendar, you're like, what day is it? What day do I get paid next? You're trying to figure out, okay, I have my cell phone bill and my internet bill and my credit card minimum payment. And I think that's it before I get paid next. And I think it's going to be this much. You're trying to do math in your head. And if you're like me, you can't do math for
Yes.
shit in your head. So then you're going to screw up, and that's going to leave you in overdraft. Then that's going to leave you with more charges. That's going to leave you with feeling like shit about not knowing what you're doing with your money. So separate accounts for multiple things makes less mental math. If you have an account that is for your income to come into, and if you then have an account that you designate, give each income dollar, if you're self-employed, a job with money for your salary, money for taxes, money for your business expenses. That gets things so much easier and allows you to build yourself breathing room with slowly seeing that balance in your salary account increase. So then knowing when you can give yourself raises, creating that security for yourself, but also on the personal side. And we have a whole episode where we talk about like strategies specific to managing your money with ADHD. I think it's episode 6, but so you don't have to go back because you're probably not going to. On the personal side, having at least 2 accounts. One account for bills and one account for spending. And maybe 3 accounts. Is one account for necessary spending, groceries, gas, and then a separate account that's your impulse spending account. And having personal spending accounts also works really well if you're managing your money with a spouse or partner, because then you've each got a little bit of money that it's like, haha, don't have to ask any questions, do anything. I can spend whatever amount is in this account without having to feel judged or feel shame or derail the personal joint household goals together. So there's a lot of things you can do. And I love looking at the account and making decisions based on the account balance, but with those systems set up. So you know that money's for bills. If I touch that, like it's like a domino, things start to screw up exponentially down the road. But here's my spending account and I get paid next Friday and I can spend it all if I want, but then I won't have anything for all of the days between now and next payday. So it's just, there's so many benefits, and the fact of going and opening the different accounts can feel overwhelming, but it's so worth it. But just start with one. If you're doing everything all in one account now, start with opening up one account and look for somebody that's online and that's not adding bank fees because we don't like bank fees.
Yes, wholeheartedly agreed to that. So it's setting up that structure so it takes a weight off of your plate. It's something you don't have to think about actively or try to do mental math, because that gets stressful. What I've found too is for some of my clients, having things set up to either come out all at the beginning of the month or all at the middle of the month, having structure on when payments come out. Most companies are pretty flexible on changing those things. Yes, it is some admin work, but if it works better for you, have that set up so it works for your mind and your money. And when it comes to investing and saving, most of my clients, I'll say the majority, it has to be automatic. It has to automatically go to an account, an investment account. And for a lot of clients, when I manage their investments, they like that they can't see it when they log on to their banking, because it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's not here. That's out of sight, out of mind. But to say, okay, come, save up 10 grand and then we'll talk about it. It's not the best way to invest, but also it's not often the strategy that works for most of us.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges for folks with ADHD in general in life is out of sight, out of mind. This may sound wild to neurotypical folks, but if you don't see someone, even if they're a close friend very often, it could be 2 weeks and be like, oh, shit, I haven't texted so-and-so. I haven't seen them. I haven't set up time to see them. And you just kind of forget that people exist, that things exist. You might want to take your supplements every morning when you sit down to have your coffee, but if they go into a drawer where you don't see them and you don't have other things set up to help you remember, they're gone. And we can actually use this challenge to our advantage when it comes to our money, because if we have money that we want to save for something and we set up an automation and we have money coming out of our main bank account and going to a savings account with a different financial institution, or a lot of employers, you can also divide up your pay into multiple deposits. So like, how can you put money you don't want to think about so that it is out of sight? Maybe that's with an investment. Maybe that's into a tax-free savings account for our fellow Canadians, or maybe it's just sitting in another account and you log in and maybe you only see in your main bank your bills account. because that's the one that requires more active management until you have it set up. But automation is also really, really key. But I hear a lot of fears and uncertainty when I talk to new clients about this, because like, you want me to automate money going here, 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 here on the day that I'm going to quote unquote pay myself from my business, because they first don't believe that they're going to be able to set up a consistent payday. Again, it's a house of cards. If if one of them stops, then they just figure it's not going to work. And they've had so much shame and so much time in their lives where they're just like, I suck with money. And you say that I can do all these things and that it fits in my budget, but I need to see it to believe it. So we often start with setting up one at a time. So which automation is the most important and what indicators need to happen for us to take that next step and set up the other automation and the next one and the next one. Take it one step at a time. We tend to want to do everything in one fell swoop, but
absolutely,
if you feel nervous about that, doing one thing is better than doing zero things.
I would agree. We talked about a lot of great strategies. Start with the one that resonates the most for you. Don't feel like you have to do it all. It's like the New Year's resolution. You don't have to rework your whole life. Start with one that feels good for you and see the impact of that. And then we snowball on that dopamine and we try something else and we add on to it, just one piece at a time.
Yeah. And I say this, I don't know if I say it a lot or if I just envision that I say it a lot, but your direction is more important than your speed. Maybe it's because we're coming up to less than 2 weeks to our half marathon, but going the right direction and going slowly and taking small steps is the most important thing. Now, the one thing is that we forget about things if we don't remember to do them, and us remembering is challenging. So maybe it's setting up a reminder in your phone once a week, once a payday, to check on my money stuff, see what's next, and then take that next action, because that time blindness also has us in our minds. We have now and not now, and not now tends to just not exist at all for us. So that creates some challenges with saving, because we think about, well, if I put money away, that's like for future me. Who's that? What's she going to be up to? And it really is challenging. It's like money in my account now, I want to spend it. But that emotional spending is a big challenge too. And thinking about like impulsive and emotional spending, they're kind of the same, but different. Impulsive is more like see somebody with something, want to do it, buy it. I now have a new habit. I'm a candle maker and I'm going to start a small business. But that emotional spending is more related to how you're feeling. And it can also be impulsive, but it can be really seated in what we're thinking and what our day is looking like.
Emotional versus impulse spending. So, like sometimes it's hard to differentiate those two when you're in it. But when we're talking about the time blindness, one of the cool things that I love doing is helping clients to open themselves up to create that vision around what will that look like in 20 years from now, and just encouraging them to dream and reminding them that the plan is not set in stone. So when we're looking at the long term, whether it's 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years from now, even just opening up our minds to the idea of what life might look like. But the financial plan is a living document. It's going to change with our lives, but just having those conversations now to help them. And I'll say to clients, I'm like, your future self will thank you. If you just start now, start small. It's much easier than starting later and trying to make up for lost time.
100%. And this may sound very wild, and I'm not sure if this is something that you see with your clients too, but when we are sitting in our first meeting with clients, I often see the weight lifting from their shoulders and I see their face change and I see the emotion. And when we're building a plan together that includes the things that they love and it works and it balances, and we're talking about the systems that make it easy to incorporate in their life, one of the things that I hear a lot is they feel less stress and they feel more optimistic because I'm feeling optimistic for them. And they're like, well, shit, if somebody who does this as their job and who is the professional and the financial expert believes that I can do this, I'm going to do this. Like they're going to get motivated and feel that inspiration, but also having somebody to support them makes it more impactful. Like if you've ever tried to go to the gym on your own versus having a personal trainer, there's a big difference to how much you show up for yourself, how much you physically get to the gym, and the work you put in when you're there. And it's just the same for anybody working with a financial professional, because you have somebody who's going to push you harder than you're ever going to push yourself, because they believe in you and they know what's possible.
I love that note. Yes. And I feel like that's a great note to end on for us. Is there anything else that you would add, Sherry?
No, I think I highly recommend you go and binge all our episodes because we're a hoot and knowledgeable. But just taking some time to take care of yourself and to take care of your money. And when you take care of yourself, you are going to feel less pulled to spend. It's never going to be no pull, but you're going to feel less pulled to spend because, and we've talked about this in a few episodes before, it's like being content with where you are and then knowing what's possible and still striving for things. But when you're really content with where you are, and I say content, not happy, because I feel like happy is more an extreme emotion. I feel contentment is really the basis of doing the things that you need to do to take care of yourself because it's important. You're important. You're more important than anybody else in your life. And I know, especially for parents, that can feel shitty to say, but if you don't take care of yourself, you can't pour from an empty cup. I love-hate relationship with that saying, but in taking care of yourself, it allows you to better take care of those around you that you love. So yeah, kind of sappy wrap up, but I'm glad you've been here. And we hope that you've found some inspiration and you've got at least one action that you're going to take and move forward from this podcast. And if you want to come back and listen to it again, copy the link, paste it into a reminder, and set up that time when you want to come back to take that next step with your money. So thanks for being here. And we can't wait to see you next time on the Mind and Money Podcast.